to have this kind of false optimism and to try to escape the catastrophe or the conclusion that the catastrophe is here, now, and it's not, and you are reacting to environment problems, which are existential problems for all of us, all the planet. The same way most of the people, in fact, are reacting to any catastrophe, like the people living on the under a volcano also. No, it will not happen, not now. Still, I can work my land for 1 year. It will happen, but not now. And this is the way finally big catastrophes are happening.
Yes.
From Brazil.
Young
Brazil.
Okay, good evening.
You have to be parochial to be ecological socialist.
Well, first of all, I'd like to apologize for my English, full of imperfections.
Why don't you ask in Portuguese?
I believe it would be better for the collective if I push my English somehow.
Okay.
Well, actually the point I was willing to raise has already been mentioned by Mr. Davidan when he asked whether the socialism is the proper tool, is the proper way to reach a sustainable reality. And in this sense, I would like just to add one more thought, one more inquiry, which I hope Professor can enlighten us somehow, which is the way I see is that socialism can reduce the individual greed of society, can shift it from individual greed to a collective greed, a state greed instead of an individual greed. And if this is really true, then the best scenario I can see for us is to live in a sustainable development world. And if we accept this, then we have two main problems. First of them is that the concept of the sustainable development is still impregnated of some kind of desire of growth. I particularly can't see the concept of sustainable development as a concept which says, okay, from now on, any more tree will be dropped, any more waste. And any more useless waste, just productive waste. But it still, it points to to higher and higher patterns of consume. And in this sense, we gotta remind that when deal to environmental issues, we are dealing with scarcity reality. You know, it will finish at a time. So I wonder whether this concept of sustainable development is to be desired by us. The other problem, which is raised in a situation of sustainable development, is also already mentioned by Mr. Davidan when he says that we should ask sustainable for who? Development in which sense? And it raised the problem regarding the gap between modernity, ignorance regarding environmental problems and dynamics. Maybe a possible solution, and the biggest problem in this scenario is that we are dealing with something the modernity language is not able to fully capture and put in graphics and mathematics, modern schemes. We are dealing with something we just don't know. And so to simplify, the big question is whether socialism language which is rooted in modernity can just admit, I don't know, can just say, okay, this indigenous knowledge is more able to answer to such question than mine. It's basically this.
How can you be so sacrilegious?
I don't know. What is sacrilegious?
Very anti-religion, anti-science. I'm joking.
Killed many sacred cows.
Yeah.
Okay, let me try to answer many questions. Okay, Leah, look, I would wish really that you were right, and that this whole danger of catastrophe is being exaggerated. I would pray that it would be like that, but I'm afraid it's not. Look, there are very, let's start like this. There is a consensus among the scientific community that global warming is going to happen has already begun. There exists a thing called International Panel for the Study of Climate, where 5,600 scientists from all the world, and after years of discussion, they came to a certain consensus. And this is the consensus. Now, there are a few scientists who deny this, less and less. The number is shrinking. Some of them, not all, some of them are subsidized by the oil companies. They pay them to say, no, no problem, everything is okay. And some others are not subsidized, but they are strange people. So I don't think they have to be taken very seriously, because there is a consensus that the global warming is on the agenda, has begun already, and is going to get worse. Now, this panel is very cautious and very prudent. They don't want to exaggerate the danger. They try to minimize it as much as possible. But I think one should listen to some scientists who are more pessimistic, and I think they are nearer to the reality. And one of them, the most important in my view, is James Hansen. James Hansen is not an eco-socialist, he's not a Bolshevik, he's a high functionary of the American government. He's the climatologist of the NASA, you know the NASA which sends the rockets to the moon. And he has been pulling the alarm for years, saying global warming is coming and is getting worse and worse. And during the Bush government, they tried to silence him. They said, you are a functionary of the US government. What you are saying is against our policy, so you have to shut up. Which is very strange for a government to tell a scientist not to speak. Since Galileo Galilei, we had not seen that. So it became a scandal in the United States. And
we've seen it in Soviet Union.
Yeah. He went to the newspapers, he talked, and he's very outspoken. And now, for the first time, he published a book called The Tempest of My Grandchildren, which I recommend you to read. It's a book by a scientist, which is very sober, and he explains what is global warming and what may happen. I think it's very important. And unfortunately, the dangers are real. Now, and the solution, of course, is not just people to eat vegetarian. It's very nice, why not? But that won't solve the problem. That won't solve the problem. Okay. Now, Arun, transition issues. Yeah. Is he around? No, he went. Okay, anyhow. He's right that we need to have what in our movement one used to call the transitional program. Means measures which start from real demands of the people but point towards a different future. So we have to think about eco-socialist transitional measures. I cannot now develop this, but just to give one example. If we say that car circulation is one of the main reasons for global warming, it's not the only, but it's one of the main, we have to have propositions. For instance, organize an urban movement of the poor around the demand public free transportation, the development of a big network of public free transportation, and opening of more space for bicycles and foot walkers, which is the majority of the population. The majority of the population, except perhaps in Los Angeles, are people who have no cars. They circulate in bus, underground, bicycle, and by foot. So these people are interested in such a policy, which would reduce the circulation of cars. So this is a measure, transitory. It's not the end of capitalism, but it goes against the grain of the whole fossil oligarchy, which is very powerful. So the government would say, no, it's impossible, we cannot do it, and it's a conflict. But this is kind of transitory measures we can fight for. Vikram, what do I define as people? Does it abolish class? Look, classes are fundamental to a program of transformation. We cannot transform, we cannot fight against capitalism if we don't organize the classes who are oppressed, exploited, and the victims of capitalism, and which obviously includes the working class, the peasants, women, etc. So class is fundamental. But in a society where we abolish capitalism, and we move towards a different civilization, we will have the people. We have the people, all the people, which includes the workers, the peasants, but the students, the people who, men or women who are not working, or all kinds of people, everybody. Everybody has to take part in the democratic process of decision. I think this is important. We cannot say decisions are only to be taken by the workers. Because, for instance, in a factory, we want to close the factory. We want to close a nuclear facility. And it doesn't concern only the workers in this facility. It concerns the whole society. So all the people together have to decide. And then, of course, we have to find alternative jobs for these workers, because they are not, it's not their fault, of course, if we want to change the productive apparatus. Now, what about redistribution? I think this is important. First, redistribution has to happen on the level of the countries. Yes, in a country, if there are regions who have more resources than others, this has to be redistributed. But we have to think on a larger scale, yes? On, for instance, on continental redistribution, yeah? Inside Europe, inside Latin America, and also in another step on a global planetary redistribution. Yeah? But this, of course, supposes that we have a planetary social revolution, yeah? Which is still very far. But I think we should start from now on. We don't have to wait for this. We must ask for redistribution now. Yeah? We have to ask for rich countries to start providing help for the countries of the South to develop alternative modes of production, etc., etc. So this is also transitory demand. As for instance, for the suppression of the foreign debt as a first step of redistribution. Yeah? So we have here a kind of transitional moratorium. Abolition, yeah.
Dublin House program.
Yes. Now, our friend asked me something in Indian. Let me see if I got the translation. Yeah, of course, our desires are shaped by the capitalist system. That's why I said it's not easy to develop new desires, but at the same time, we have to start with desires which are outside the capitalist system, and also people in the village, sure, they look to the city, yeah, they want to imitate the city, but we must have an answer to these demands. First, giving better conditions of life for people in the village, the rural area. We don't want a society where people leave the countryside and flock to the towns, all, which is creating absurd forms of monstrous urbanism. Yeah, we have to find ways of people wanting to stay in the village, creating much better wages and conditions of life for the people in the rural area. And this is also an agrarian reform, etc. So we have to, our transitional program has to create much better conditions for the rural populations. And of course, in the process of transforming society, people are going to transform their desires when they get rid of this powerful apparatus of bourgeois ideology and advertisement. Now, is Marxism relevant for civilizational change? I would say yes and no. I would say Marxism is an indispensable and necessary tool to understand what is capitalism, why capitalism needs always to grow, and why capitalism has to be superseded and destroyed, overcome, if you want a different alternative. Yeah? But Marxism is not sufficient. We need ecology, all the contributions of ecological thinking, yeah? Both ecological science and the political ecology. Yeah? They have a very important contribution. So we need a Marxism that is able to integrate the ecological thinking. Yeah? So this is not the old Marxism, but is a new Marxism of the 21st century, which is has been able to take into itself as a central element the ecological dimension. I'm coming now to my friend Ricardo. Look, I would say that the idea that we have to save humanity is theological. I would say it's philosophical. Means I consider myself a humanist. Yeah, I think Marxism is humanism. So we have some kind of commitment to humanity. Perhaps you are right. There is something theological in it. I'm thinking now of the testament. You know that story. The testament of Adolf Joffe, who was a friend of Trotsky. And he committed suicide in 1930 when Stalin became too powerful. And he left a testament saying, for us who are atheists and materialists, the thing which replaces God is humanity. And our supreme value is humanity. So in some sense you're right. It's something theological, it's replacing God. Since we don't believe in God, it's humanity which replaces. And we want, indeed, we have a feeling of duty towards saving humanity. Yeah? That's not something which you can demonstrate scientifically. Yeah? It's a kind of basic philosophical premise. Now, you challenge the separation between artificial and natural needs. Well, I wouldn't use the term natural needs, but I would say social needs. That means needs that people define, that society and people define by themselves, by their own free decision, without being under the pressure of commodity fetishism, advertisement, and bourgeois ideology of consumism. The moment you suppress these elements, then real social needs will appear, which are of course diverse, as you said, from culture to culture, from age to age, from person to person. There is of course a big diversity of needs, but they won't be the artificial needs imposed by the system. That's what I mean. And you are right that people prefer to avoid thinking about the disaster. That's normal. Yeah? And I had the experience of talking to people about global warming, and people don't react. Yeah? They prefer to talk about something else. They avoid the subject. Yeah? I feel a resistance. It's true. Yeah? It's very, Cassandras are always in a very awkward situation. People don't like to listen to them. They say, oh, don't do this. Our town of Troy will be destroyed. They don't want to listen to it. So it's a difficult job. I agree. So our Brazilian friend, well, is socialism rooted in modernity? Well, yes and no. Yeah? Socialism appeared, issued, modern socialism, let's say Marxism, is a product of modernity, but at the same time it's a criticism of modernity. It's a kind of self-criticism of modernity. But I personally think, not all Marxists agree with me, that Marxism has a lot to learn, not only from modernity, but also from pre-modern cultures and civilizations. Yeah? And in fact, in Marx and Engels themselves, you find some elements of this. When Engels speaks about primitive communism, for instance, and he gives an example, some North American tribes, the Iroquois Federation, and he says, it's fantastic how these people live. They are free human beings. No classes, no oppression, no state, no police, no patriarchy, no oppression of the women. this is an example for us. We should be like these people. Of course, not by returning back to the past, but in a new form, in a different form, which conveys all the advances of modernity. Yes? So I think this kind of dialectic between modernity and pre-modern civilization, this should be part of a renewal of the socialist culture. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. It's paradoxical that more you spoke, more the thirst for listening to you increased. So the conversation will continue, and since we can see from the strength of the people around table, I shouldn't inflict anything which I have in my mind. I would like and hope that this conversation will really continue, if not face to face, always through other modes, and we'll be fellow travelers in this shared journey of discovering the paths to ecological socialism. Since you talked about participation of the people, peasants and indigenous people and all other categories which are not very easily handleable in the socialist tools. So we have to really continue this conversation in a longer and deeper and in a multifaceted manner. And we hope to do that. Thank you very much for accepting the invitation to speak. Thank you all of you.
Thank you.